The college football playoff rankings just dropped. The field is set. We're going to take a look at the top four, give you our thoughts, give you some analysis. We got some good matchups coming, all right? I'm just going to say that. Between Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, we got some good games. So we'll go one by one here, starting with Georgia. No surprise, undefeated SEC champions. They are the big dog until proven otherwise. I think they're playing their best ball right now, to be honest. Like what Georgia has put on tape the last month or so, starting with the Tennessee game, gives you a lot of encouragement as a Georgia Bulldog fan. So with that being said, they drew Ohio State. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but that is a really intriguing matchup because I don't know this to be true, but I would imagine in the back of Kirby Smart's mind, outwardly he'll tell you, don't care, we'll play anybody. That's true. Can't imagine they're happy to be drawing the Buckeyes in that 4 spot. More on that in just a second, but again, Georgia, number 1, no surprise. Don't need to spend a ton of time on it, but I think they're potentially a little more dangerous than last year because of what they have offensively with Stetson Bennett and him taking that next step. But Georgia, number 1, no surprise. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, would love to have you here. If you haven't followed me on the social channels, at JD Piquel on Twitter and Instagram. Would also love to have you follow me there as well. College football content all year round. The playoffs are here. At number 2, Michigan Wolverines. No surprise here as well. Big Ten champions have taken care of business. It all came down to the Ohio State game for them in the regular season. They did what they needed to do. They've been really impressive as of late. I think they're also starting to play their best football. Illinois game isn't super encouraging, but since then they've been just dynamite, right? I mean, taking care of business. Everything that Jim Harbaugh bet on this past offseason into the first few games of this season has paid off. New coordinators. It's been great. New personnel on defense. They've gotten that rolling quick, fast, in a hurry. Voluntarily switched the quarterback, the one that got you to the college football playoff a year ago, the one that won the Big Ten championship for you a season ago. Harbaugh said, I think we got to make a switch. J.J. McCarthy has been lights out, added a whole new element to what this program can be going forward. Last year, it was bully ball. It was we're going to hand the ball off and absolutely dominate you for 60 minutes. They still have that available, but they have a lot of potential with what they can do in the pass game now, and that's starting to take more and more effect during these last 2 games, starting to hit on it a little bit more. And I say this all the time. Explosive plays in the pass game are like cockroaches. You get one, there's probably 2 or 3 more somewhere lurking. And there's been at least 1 or 2 in these last couple of games for J.J. McCarthy and that receiving core. A lot of them showed up against Ohio State, a couple more last night. Bottom line, they're playing their best football as well. Deservedly the number 2 spot. Don't need to expand on this too much more. Makes a lot of sense. At number 3, you got TCU. Now, TCU made things interesting by losing in the Big 12 title game. But you look at their resume, and I think they're in the right spot. 4 ranked wins. Their only losses to a top 10 team in overtime. I mean, there's not much more to talk about with TCU. I don't think if they had been lower, that would have been accurate. Better win against Texas than Alabama. Alabama obviously falling in the 5 spot. We'll touch on that just a little bit. But all that's to say, if you're TCU, the logo is really the biggest knock against you, right? That you don't have the script A, that you don't have the Ohio State logo, that you don't have the power T. Like all these things are against TCU that don't pertain to what they did on the football field. They're in the Big 12 conference. They didn't run the table necessarily. I understand that. But again, 4 ranked wins, the best loss compared to what they have below them. I think they're in the right spot at number 3. Now, Ohio State. Kirk Herbstreit described them as backing into the playoff. That's fine. I promise you, Ohio State, if you had told them in Columbus after they had lost to Michigan in the fashion that they did, that, hey, don't worry, you're still going to have a chance to play for a national championship. I don't know that a lot of people would have believed you. But regardless, here they are sitting at number 4. And I said I think 3 is the right spot for TCU. I still feel that way. Ohio State has good wins against Penn State and Notre Dame. Those wins haven't, especially against Notre Dame, rather, it hasn't aged quite as well as I think they thought it would. Regardless, don't matter. You're in the dance. And the thing for me about Ohio State is I think they are potentially more dangerous than if they had just run the table I promise you, they would have liked to have a Big Ten title. They would have liked to beat Michigan. All those things are the standard at Ohio State that they haven't reached, to be 100% clear. They've got their own issues internally. But to come face to face with the thought that, okay, our season's done. C.J. Stroud, will he play in a bowl game? Who knows? A lot of people consider this year a failure for Ohio State. Some people may still think that. But the fact of the matter remains, they now have new life, a new outlook on the rest of their season as to what they thought was a done season. Playing a New Year's Six Bowl and for Ohio State, that's not the expectation. They expect more than that, to now having a chance to win a national title. So there's a lot of juice, a lot of energy right now in Columbus. And I tweeted this out at Judy Pickell again. And just imagine if we do get the matchup of Ohio State and Michigan for the national championship. I'll just leave that there. 5 was Alabama, 6 was Tennessee. I understand the thought that Alabama had a real chance to get into the college football playoff. The reality is they had 2 losses. Now, was it the best 2 losses in the country? I think there's a strong case. Both of them on the road in SEC play against 2 teams that were hot on the last play by a combined total of 4 points. If you're Alabama, you're saying this close. And that's kind of the fact of the matter. That's kind of the way that it works right now in college football with this 4-team playoff, which I'm for, but this close is still enough to keep you out of the deal. So could Alabama get in the thing and still run the table if they had been in that 4 spot? I promise you, Alabama would have been favored against a lot of these teams. At the very least, would have been favored against TCU. I think it's a very strong conversation to say they could have been favored against Ohio State. Regardless, though, they're left out, and the committee continues to hold firm to, hey, 2 losses, it's going to be hard to get in with that. Tennessee at 6, they're building, all right? Tennessee is, if you had told me at the beginning of the year, if you told a lot of Tennessee fans, hey, you're going to finish number 6 in the college football playoff rankings, they would have been juiced. So a lot of excitement about what's still to come there in Knoxville, but number 6 is where they fall. They'll play Clemson in the Orange Bowl, it sounds like. 2 teams that wear orange in the Orange Bowl. Can't script it. So again, the top 4 are Georgia at 1. No surprise, deservedly so. They are the top dog, no pun intended. At number 2, you got Michigan. Taking care of business, continuing to trend upward, playing some of their best football right now. They're more multiple than ever before. That makes them dangerous. Jim Harbaugh has bet on himself, bet on his process, and he has won. Sitting there at number 2. TCU at number 3. Glad to see the committee put him at 3 and not any lower. At number 4, the Ohio State Buckeyes with a new lease on life, and I think a hungry dog. And a hungry dog is a dangerous dog for the rest of the college football landscape. They will draw Georgia. Obviously, Michigan will play TCU. Gonna be some good matchups. We got some key battle videos coming for you here very, very shortly, so make sure you're locked in. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you follow me on the socials. Listen, the second part of the season is now starting. It is now playoff time, okay? The regular season is behind us. We love the regular season. The regular season comes first and foremost for us here on this program. But the playoff is a beautiful thing. We love that as well, and it is playoff time. So keep it locked right here. Make sure you're subscribed. This has been The Hard Count. Jack Terry lifting heavy. It's your show. We're going to keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.